Hello and welcome to the visualization. Today, I contemplate whether or not I should jump back on Facebook. I've had Instagram and whether or not I should jump back on X. Facebook banned me in 2021. X banned me within the past year. I was never banned from Instagram, but of course, Instagram is associated with Facebook, is owned by Facebook. So, going back to like 2020 when I was on Facebook, I was posting a lot about my perception as an impoverished person and how I perceive corruption and fraudulence. I would use hashtags like hashtag end corruption or hashtag one can change many. And I would make valid points or make certain points about personal experiences intertwined with general understanding of many forms of corruption and fraudulence. But that wasn't what that might have been partially why I was banned. Potentially people don't like my outlook from Facebook, but the reason I was banned is because I was sharing too much in a world of 7 billion people, almost 8 billion people. They were telling me that I was sharing too much. I'm a gamer. I share my own content. Maybe I want to share other people's content that are also gamers. So I would share to groups. I would share my gaming content to groups. I would share musical content, specifically by an artist named Dramatone, to groups. And I can't think, I think there's a third thing, but musical and gaming basically is what I would share to groups. And after sharing, I believe, 32 or 33 posts to uh, groups, it would Facebook would ban me for a day or two, and eventually that increased to about a week, maybe even longer. And so I started to get annoyed knowing that the world has 7 billion people and this and Facebook is designed to share things and communicate things. So I started to send them feedback or whatnot. I was responding to their suspensions and sending them feedback, which was extremely harsh. I was saying some very foul things. Pretty much every form of hate speech that you could think of, I would send it to them. Understandably, that's wrong, that's unprofessional, that's impure. But I wasn't really a professional, so to speak. I was just a user. It's just a person um, um, using their platform. And so um, I reacted harshly, but it's unreasonable for Facebook to provide a platform for socializing globally to then say, hey, you're sharing too much. My reaction was too harsh. I should have taken legal action instead, but I'm impoverished. And I don't think I should have to take legal action about that. I think they should be more understanding and reasonable. Furthermore, X banned me about a year ago or so, and uh, formerly Twitter, and that was me. The same thing. I was posting a lot about my perception, but a more evolved, modern perception of corruption, of my perception of personal and general corruption and fraudulence. And from October 2022 all the way to about April 2024, but still sometimes ongoing, people within our government and or law enforcement were terroristically using vehicles and nowadays planes to terrorize me. Um, specifically at the intersection near my home where I was living. Uh, they did it nonstop for 18 straight months ex without going into further detail. Just go to if you're interested, go to my YouTube playlists section and scroll until you see victim of 18 plus months of intentional vehicular sound pollution, terrorism, and sound torture war crimes, or however it's worded. But basically, that's what was happening for 18 plus months and still sometimes happening, except not with land vehicles, now with planes in this region, in this area. So some of it might be casual, some of it might be normal, but a lot of it isn't. So some of it isn't. So, anyways, eventually, within that 18 months, after 9 months, I was sending online reports to all to most security-based entities. But then after that 9 months, I was like, all right, this isn't stopping. So I started screaming out the window, yelling FAGGOTS to the traffic, which then caused a further provocation or uh, uh, caused a lot of the local traffic to get involved with what was happening against me, as far as law enforcement and or governmental agencies invading my privacy, stalking me, and terrorizing me with vehicles. Now, most of those people in those vehicles had cell phones. So my plea, my public outcry for help and the continuance of it all and the lack of seriousness for security for me, as I'm a business and a person, it all it's all evident that the cell phone towers were seeing the patterns of these people, whether it was the same people or a cycle of different people. You all got caught red-handed. You all got caught in the act. And so I took it to the extent of going on to X, formerly Twitter, and I started to post and repost basically like here, keep allowing people to terrorize, keep allowing people to invade my privacy, stalk me, terrorize me with intentional vehicular sound pollution terrorism and sound torture war crimes. Watch what happens. And I would repost with a cookie emoji and then a question mark. And, and because you can't repost the same thing over and over, I would put a cookie emoji, question mark, put some spaces, and just keep on posting every time I was being terrorized by vehicles at the intersection near my home that were terroristically driving by. But also, there's an overpass bridge nearby, right next to the intersection as well. So they were exploiting or whatnot the area with their vehicles. And then eventually the Robert Card mass shooting happened. Um, I forget what day and year or whatever specifically that was, but what was it? Whatever. October, it was like October 25 or something, 2023. And so that happened in Lewiston, Maine, where I was living. So for these people to do all of that for 18 months from October 2022 all the way to April 2024, and then ignore all of the reports for the first 9 months I was sending to all most security-based entities online, being very detailed and thorough. And um, so from hundreds of reports to my neighbors that should have vouched for me to just the overall country being about rights, freedom, privacy. And then after 9/11, 2001, when I was 9 years old, we were doubling down on rights, freedom, and privacy, or specifically counterterrorism and national security. I'm a citizen. I deserve to be protected by that, by those. I should be included in that. but I'm also a business. I'm a public figure. I'm a content creator. Um, I'm an influencer. So I deserved to be protected not only just as a person, but also as a business. So the local police were coming around and I was filming them and mostly remaining silent, eventually sometimes describing what I was perceiving, which was not delusion, it was not psychosis, it was really happening. My neighbors could vouch, my mom could vouch, but my neighbors weren't really, they were kind of siding with the terrorism. My mother was just kind of turning a blind eye. So why that was done to me, why everyone around me was turning a blind eye, I don't know. But I decided to be extremely proactive through X and reposting over and over and over every single time someone drove by terroristically. And eventually, I proved too many points in that regard and in general about anti corruption, anti fraudulence, anti homelessness, anti misinformation, about the idea of a portrayal of a non existent God, etc., etc., false diagnoses, the, just anything corruption and fraudulence you could think of. I was targeted, so I'm being deplat. I was deplatformed by Facebook in 2021, and in 2023, uh, I was deplatformed by X, formerly Twitter. Now, please, if you could give me some advice, give me your perspective on it, and let me know. What do you think? Should I forgive Facebook? Sh Was I too harsh? Should I forgive X, formerly Twitter? I don't think I said anything too bad on X. So basically, it's not like I was trying to manipulate their platform. I was just posting to my own profile. I have the right to do that, or sharing to my own profile. So ultimately, I think Facebook was wrong for limiting my sharing on a platform based around socializing and sharing. So my reaction, my harsh reaction, and extreme feedback with a lot of hate speech was not exactly right, but I was trying to prove a point. I just should have done it more civilly, understandably. I was young though. I was fairly young. Well, you know, in my late 20s or whatnot. So I don't think they were fair as far as like what I might have been going through as an impoverished person and how I was upset with how they were limiting my sharing in a world of 7 billion people on their platform based around socializing and sharing. So, should I forgive Facebook and continue associating with Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, or no? What do you think? Also, X, formerly Twitter, I feel like they deplatformed me in accordance and in coordination with our government and our law enforcement. So, should I or should I not forgive Facebook? I don't think I should. Also, should I forgive X, formerly Twitter, for doing a similar thing? Because I didn't send any negative feedback to them. At times I would say, haha, 9/11 happened, jump on X, formerly Twitter, but that doesn't necessarily mean 9/11 2001. It just, I was saying, haha, 911, 911. So, but of course, after 9+ months, all the way up to 18 months of torture, I decided to start saying things like, haha, 9/11 happened, jump. Not only vocally, but I, I would post that via text on my own account on X, formerly Twitter. Fair enough. That was possibly part of the reason, or a majority of the reason why I was removed or platformed. But at the end of the day, there's two sides to every story. CIA, Saudi Arabia, Osama, Al Qaeda. This CIA had Osama bin Laden as an operative for them. Eventually, something went wrong, and then Al Qaeda planned an attack on America, apparently for 10 years, and and committed an attack on American soil, which isn't very much different than Pearl Harbor 60 years prior, where Japan bombed us with planes in Hawaii. Event, the World War II only lasted a few years, maybe 5, 6 years, 4 to 6 years. We nuclear bombed them twice and then forgave them eventually within probably 10, 20 years and became allies with them. They joined NATO. So what's the difference between what's I see no I see that our country, America, is being very forgiving to Japan, but not very forgiving to Al Qaeda. And the statistics are very similar. The Pearl Harbor attack by Japan killed 2,600 soldiers or whatnot, somewhere around there. And 60 years later, an attack on America in New York killed 3,000 New Yorkers. It's 400 more people. The difference is Pearl Harbor were soldiers and New York was citizens. But I see I don't see much of a difference between warfare or war and terror or terrorism. They're very similar. So ultimately, I prove many valid points. I'm I'm pro universal basic income. I'm anti homelessness, anti corruption, and anti fraudulence. So please let me know in the comment section. What do you think? Should I forgive Facebook? Probably not. Should I forgive X, formerly Twitter, for ignoring my rights, freedom, and privacy, and how our government and law enforcement was continuously invading my privacy and terrorizing me? And X, formerly Twitter, employees were turning a blind eye, as well as my neighbors and my mother. And then ultimately, also Facebook. I had a Facebook page for uh, which was um, which was the URL was facebook.com/LLLUMINATEY, Illuminati, and um, when they banned me in 2021, I went to download my information from my personal Facebook account, but when I did that, it didn't include all of the information, and it also didn't include the the pictures from my page. So not only was Facebook impure, but they also didn't give me my information back. And then the more important information to me, which was a bunch of Grand Theft Auto screenshots, which I put on the IllumiNatey page, I could not ever recover those. Right now, I think I can recover them from Flickr, but nonetheless, Facebook was impure and wrong for how they reacted to my reactions, and they were lacking understanding and empathy overall, and failing to realize that their platform was based around socializing in a world of 7 billion people, and they shouldn't have set such limitations of 32 to 32 shares to groups, which was why I was complaining and outraged. And then eventually they required that I show my ID and verify my identity and change my first and last name because my first and last name originally was Slim Nady. So So I tried not to bounce around. I just remembered some of the information that I wanted to include. But ultimately, please thoroughly review this live stream, hear me out, try to be fair, and let me know, should I forgive Facebook? Um, they deleted all those posts that I made a lot of posts over years, over however many years, and all that information just disappears. My perspective as a young adult, I don't think that's fair. And then you know, and now I can't recover the information ever again. It's permanently gone now. After like a year, it disappeared. so I can't download the information from my old permanently banned Facebook account anymore. And then furthermore, X, formerly Twitter, same thing. I lost. I posted a lot to my X account. I had like 7,000 posts and reposts and stuff like that, 9,000. So my perspective as a young adult ultimately was attacked by Facebook and then even X, formerly Twitter. And of course, there's more to it, which I already described. And I don't want to go into a circle. I tend to do that. So I don't want to repeat myself. I thoroughly described everything. Please hear me out. Watch this once or twice, maybe 3 times, and try to put yourself in my shoes. Because I think Facebook and X, also Instagram and Threads, should be denied my presence. I don't think I should use their platforms. But I would also like to hear your perspective. Let me know in the comments. Have a nice day, and make sure you praise the non existent God.